As the youngest child of Ted Kennedy, Patrick Kennedy became the heir apparent to a political dynasty. But 6 months after his father's death, he revealed to Rhode Island Monthly why he will not be running for Congress again in November. Joining me this morning to talk more about that article that's been gaining national attention is Mark Arsenault from Rhode Island Monthly to tell us about his exclusive interview with Patrick Kennedy. First of all, Mark, congratulations on this.
Thank you so much.
And how difficult was this to keep a secret? Because, my goodness, I mean, the publishing world is not like the television news medium where, you know, it happens. You guys knew about this before anybody else did, really.
It was in late January where Kennedy told me that he wasn't going to run. I'd been working on this article since probably last Thanksgiving. And it seemed like at the time a really good time after his father's death to do a profile of Patrick Kennedy in Washington without his father, sort of the second part of his career. I went to D.C. in early December. I spent a day with him down there. We did a number of interviews in the district and on the phone. And then after I, in fact, filed the story, in late January, he emailed me and asked me to come over to his house to talk a little bit more.
So obviously you had a connection with him then.
Well, I'd worked 10 years at the Providence Journal, so I had known him through my work at the Journal. I've known him for a few years. And I put in the time. And I think that this is a bit of a victory for long-form journalism. I mean, I read a lot of blogs. I like what blogs do. But there's some things that can only really be explained through the long form.
That's so true. You know, I wanted to ask you a little bit about what your impressions were as to why he really doesn't want to run. Because, of course, Scott Brown winning in Massachusetts had ramifications throughout the country for Democrats. But do you think that had more to do with it? Or was it the fact that here he is in this political dynasty, never quite had that same presence and speaking ability as some of the other Kennedys? Was that too much for him? Was it the changing landscape in politics right now? What do you think was the main factor for him?
The main factor was the death of his father. As he likes to say, a lot of people when they get out of politics, they say they're getting out to spend more time with their family.
Right.
Patrick Kennedy got into politics to spend more time with his family, spend more time with his father. When that relationship was severed, he began thinking seriously about getting out of politics. And I think the most devastating quote in the story that he gave me was when he talked about if he had a year to live and didn't have children, all the legislative accomplishments in the world wouldn't have mattered. It's like he learned at his father's deathbed, seeing all the family around and looking at his own life and realizing that he'd given up that part of his life, that private part of his life that's really hard to have these days since politics is sort of a 24/7 business. And he wants that private part of his life.
Well, Mark Arsenault, it certainly is an interesting read, as are many of these articles in Rhode Island Monthly. And if you're interested in reading Mark's article, you can look at his interview with Kennedy in the March edition of Rhode Island Monthly, and just head over to foxprovidence.com and we'll post the link. Ben, over to you.